Today I'd like to talk about three things which are contributory to diabetes and which I've certainly experienced. Those three things in order are diet, exercise and stress. So looking at diet, the main thing that's been affecting my life is consumption of carbohydrates. The white foods, so potatoes, bread, in fact anything made with wheat flour, milk, rice. So those white foods are all high in carbohydrates, and what the body does is it converts those into blood sugar, glucose. In diabetics, the body loses the ability, or it's degraded, to dispose of this glucose, and so that leads to elevated glucose levels. And what happens then is you get sugar-covered red blood cells, which is what your A1C test measures, and I'll mention this or talk in more depth on a different video. But that's essentially what happens. The carbohydrates become sugar. Sugar covers these red blood cells. Red blood cells then can't do their proper function, and that leads to all manner of health issues. Next one is exercise. So I personally don't exercise anything like as much as I should do. The golf course is my main area where I would incur some exercise, but for various reasons I haven't been out there anything like as often as I should. So that's something that I'm going to be taking steps to correct. However, there are other things I can do without going to the golf course, and one of those is an exercise bike. We've had this exercise bike for, I don't know, 2 years. My wife originally bought it, and she used it for a little bit, but then, as I mentioned, a few things happened in our lives, bereavements and so forth, and kind of lost interest. So that's being resurrected, and I'll make a video again about that. But exercise is a key thing. If you don't exercise, then the body produces what's called visceral fat, which is central in your body, in your core, and the visceral fat impairs the body's ability to eradicate the glucose or absorb the glucose. So that's another reason why people get diabetes: insufficient exercise. The third one is stress. Now, you wouldn't think necessarily that stress is something that is going to provide you with diabetes, but it does. So what happens in long-term stress or medium-term stress is the body produces a hormone. That hormone is called cortisol. And what cortisol does is it further impairs the body's ability to deal with glucose. In fact, in the liver, it produces more glucose when there is the presence or elevated levels of cortisol. So stress is something that is a double whammy. Not only do you have to put up with whatever it is that's stressing you, a bereavement in my case, or one of the reasons, but it also causes or is contributory to diabetes. And if you're pre-diabetic, that can push you over the threshold into firm diabetes territory, which is one of the reasons why I have diabetes. The other reason, of course, is I'm fat, drunk and stupid, or have been. So those are things that I need to correct, but the stress has also been a contributory factor. Sometimes it can be stressful at work, and I've taken the conscious decision to quit worrying about things that I just can't fix. I'm a telecom engineer. I work as a sales engineer for a fiber company, and at the moment, so we're in January 23, for the last year or so, maybe a bit longer, we've been experiencing a supply chain issue, so we can't get equipment. Nobody can get equipment, doesn't matter who you are. We're one of the larger customers of the equipment manufacturers. If you can't get the equipment, then you can't provide the service as quickly as the customer might like it. Nothing I can do about that, so why would I worry about it? And in the past I have been. So that's something that I've just pushed to one side. So just to recap for this short video, the three main contributors that have provided me with diabetes are diet, terrible, change that, get rid of the carbs, exercise, do more of that, and stress, avoid as much as you can. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I'll see you next time.